60 in March, and I just got back from my 60th birthday friends trip that we've been planning for almost a year now, and I wanted to take you along with me. As a senior, you don't have to wait until you retire to build in a life of adventure and fun. So come along with me. I went with 6 of my girlfriends. We've been friends for a lifetime almost, some of us since junior high, a couple of us since grade school. And we've been friends all of this time. We all live here in the same city, and we have been through all the ups and downs and all of that of life, but we decided that this past year all of us were turning 60, and so we wanted to do this amazing big trip together. And I just have to tell you, it was just the most fantastic, fun, giggling adventure trip that we've ever taken together. We've taken a lot of smaller trips together, but nothing this big. So the first thing that we started was back in September. We all got together and we talked about where we would like to go for a location, and we all put in 2 votes, 2 of our top votes, and then from there we made the decision on where to go. And we wanted to make sure that we had an all-inclusive resort. That's where we wanted to go. We wanted it to be a beach trip this time, and so we looked at some locations that had the all-inclusive choice, and then we also decided that we wanted to go for a week, and then we wanted to make sure that it was someplace warm so we could get away from the Wyoming snow and cold, although we haven't had much of that this year. So the day before we left on our trip, it snowed here. And the day before we got back, we were getting pictures from family members that it had snowed too. So we were able to escape that at least for a week and went to a beautiful, beautiful spot. What we also learned is, as seniors, our traveling habits and our traveling needs are very different. And so at the end of this video, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what we learned about traveling as a senior, what kind of adjustments you can make, what kind of accommodations you might need to do to make sure that your travel and your vacation is safe and fun and still filled with adventure and fun. And just knowing that you can do that, you can make those accommodations and still just have a blast is so nice to know, so we can continue that. We're planning a 65th now big trip, and we'll probably take some littler ones in between, so I'll show you those as we go. So stay with me at the end and I'll tell you what we learned about making those accommodations, some of the things that we learned about traveling that was different than traveling together when we were a little bit younger. So here we go.
So before our trip, had to get my nails done, and lovely picture of getting my hair done. All ready, all packed. And this is what happened the day before we left in Wyoming. We are on the plane. We've got the first sight of the island as we're getting ready to land. You can see the beach and the beautiful, beautiful water. All 7 of us wore t-shirts that said 60th birthday on here, so the flight attendants brought out little mimosas for all of us.
Hi everybody, made it to Jamaica.
This is the amazing view from our balcony. All of us had oceanfront views. This resort is the Rio Reggae on Montego Bay, and it's absolutely gorgeous. 3 pools, 5 restaurants, all inclusive, adults only. They had amazing shows for all of us every single night. Great music, great sound, lots of fun. They also had bingo and trivia for all of us, so always something to do. This was one of our first excursions. It was a catamaran ride of snorkeling and going around the tip of the island to the other side of the island to Negril, where Rick's Cafe is. On the boat, we got to dance, we got to snorkel. This is looking back at the boat, and some of the ladies hadn't been snorkeling before, so it was so much fun. We saw jellyfish and clownfish and a whole bunch of other species that I couldn't name. But so much fun. They played reggae music for all of us. We just got to dance and sing and had the best time. I had to turn the music down for YouTube purposes, but rest assured it was just so much fun. This is one of the lighthouses on the beach that we saw on the way. And then my friend wanted to drive the boat, so she's up there driving the boat. Every bus that we rode and every boat that we rode, she wanted to drive. This is me dancing on the boat. They have divers at Rick's Cafe that dive off the cliffs, so all of us girls jumped off the cliff into the water. So this is just down in the bay after our jumps. This is our sunset picture at Rick's Cafe. And now we're back at the hotel. These are the wildcats that they have all over the resort that were just darling. They'd come right up to you. It was hard not to want to take them home. This is some of the landscape on the drives to and from some of our excursions. They just have the most beautiful flowers and foliage there. Gorgeous, gorgeous. And this is one of the pools at the resort, one of 3. This is our first day down at the pool. This is our first espresso martini down there. Playing Jenga. They always had something to do, some sort of entertainment. And these were some of the singers and dancers. This is the boathouse. It's a ferry out on the water that has the most amazing food. We had lobster dinners there. Beautiful sunset. This was our birthday dinner night. This is looking down from our balcony at the pool bar. This gentleman was one of our favorite waiters. He was just so much fun. And this was our breakfast one morning, coffee and mimosas before we On this day, we headed down to the shoreline. We wanted to kayak and paddle boat. It's the first time I had ever paddle boated, and another one of the ladies hadn't kayaked before, so we all got to choose what we wanted to do and go out in the ocean. It was just gorgeous that day and so much fun. This is one of the planes that flew over the resort. And this was one of the last days we chartered a boat to go back out on the ocean so we could see the sunset. And this is Margaritaville. We went down to Margaritaville one of the days, had some drinks and fun and laughter and lunch. This is another catamaran down by at Margaritaville. Then they have the bouncy houses and things like that on the ocean that you can swim in. And this is the falls. Some of the ladies went out on an excursion up by the falls, and it's just beautiful. The last night they had a neon party at the nightclub. This is our last night. We wanted to go down to the beach and watch the sunset. Take some pictures, just relax and reminisce on what an amazing, amazing trip we had. The Jamaican people are so lovely. And then sadly, packing up, going back to the airport, decided to have one more Bob Marley shot for all of us before we left. And this is everybody sleeping on the plane.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that. It was such an amazing trip. I can't believe it's already over. You know, that planning process of it being so long since September and then going in April, it almost seems surreal that we were there. And now that we're back from all of that, and I purposefully am filming here in front of the explosion of luggage, trying to get everything unpacked and put away. That's not the fun part of the trip, but certainly seeing the souvenirs and sort of reliving and thinking about the memories that we made on this trip while I'm unpacking makes it a little bit easier. Some of the things that we learned about adjustments or changes or differences in traveling as a senior compared to traveling when we were younger were things like it was important for us to break things up into steps or phases that we may not have had to do before. For example, even the packing process. We all commented when we got to the airport the first day that we had to sort of break up our packing throughout the whole week prior because it just seemed so exhausting, sort of overwhelming. So that helped a little bit. It wasn't so last minute like I used to just throw everything into a bag. Even when I had little kids, it seemed like the last day before we left, I was throwing everything in, trying to get everything organized. And so breaking it up into stages was nice. Once we got there, we also had to break some things up in terms of getting through the airport. We purposefully planned stopping in the United Club areas or in the, they call it Mo Bay, which is a lounge that they have in the Jamaica airport. Which is where we went, by the way. And that allowed us to do some walking, and then take a break and get something to drink, or grab something to eat really quick, and then venture on. The logistics of getting back through customs, back through the United States was something else, I'll tell you. It was exhausting. So thankfully we were able to build those sort of stop and rest periods in, and taking it a little bit at a time. We also realized too that breaking up some of the excursions into half-day adventures rather than a full-day adventure was a lot easier on all of us. So we may have taken a full-day adventure when we were younger, but the half-day adventures were just as marvelous, just as fun, and allowed us to do either some resting in the morning, resting in the afternoon, and still be able to manage the whole trip effectively. We also talked a lot about comfort. That's something that we really hadn't thought about when we were younger, probably, but wearing really comfortable shoes. I noticed that none of us were wearing high heels at night for dinner. Even when we were dressing up, we were wearing flip-flops or sandals of some sort, because we knew that we were going to have to walk long distance. Just the walk from because the resort was so big, just the walk from our hotel room down to the lobby took 20 minutes. I mean, it was just grueling. And so wearing comfortable shoes, wearing comfortable clothing was something that we really found ourselves doing much more as a senior at the age that we are now versus when we were young. Scheduling and rest periods again. I took the third day of our trip just as a day of sort of rest. I slept in that day. I stayed in the motel. I didn't go on one of the excursions that some of the other girls wanted to go on. And for me, I'm still recovering from West Nile virus that I got this past summer. So I get fatigued pretty easily. And so for me, especially as I'm aging, that's going to be important. I don't know if we don't know at this point, the doctors don't know if that fatigue and dizziness that I feel will go away. And so that was important for me in terms of making accommodations for myself so that I wasn't fatigued going into the rest of the travel the rest of the week, and I just felt rejuvenated after that time. But setting up some rest times for all of us was really important. Also giving ourselves permission to not go on every adventure that everyone else wanted to do. We decided before we left that, if I wanted to go on something and somebody else and my roommate didn't, that was completely fine. We just needed to do what we needed to do for each one of us, and there was no judgment around that. So there were several times where, you know, 3 or 4 of us would go and the other 3 or 4 wouldn't, and would stay back at the hotel and vice versa. And that just made it so easy and so delightful for all of us to be able to just pick and choose what we felt like we were up to for that day. And it just didn't have to be a go, go, go kind of a vacation for all of us. We really enjoyed it. Hydration is really important. We found very quickly within the first day, because where we were going was hot, but also we were moving a lot more than normal. Making sure that you're hydrating is so important. So one of the ladies that we went with bought some tumblers for all of us. And we just kept those filled with ice and took those on the excursions with us. That was so helpful to have fresh water so that we could keep hydrated. We also decided that it was okay if we chose to pay for convenience. And what I mean by that is, for example, we decided to tip a bellman to take our bags from the hotel lobby when we arrived up to our rooms, and then when we were checking out, the same thing, to come up and get our bags. Because the trek was so long and we have so many bags between all of us, we just decided it was worth it to tip them, for them to do that for us. You know, it may have been different. It was different when we were younger. We probably wouldn't have even thought about lugging those bags around. But now I am willing to pay for some of that sometimes if you can afford it. To be able to allow yourself not to get so fatigued before you even get to the airport, for example, or get so fatigued and sweaty when you first arrive, so that you can participate in the other activities. It's well worth it to me to tip for that kind of a thing. Also, we decided to take a 10-minute taxi ride from our hotel across the interstate to a shopping center, you know, that was probably 50 feet from our hotel lobby. But because it was a very busy interstate very busy street, we don't walk as fast as we used to, and so we felt like it was much safer to just pay for that 10-15 minute taxi ride, which seems silly, but again, we knew that trying to walk across there or run across there was not something that we can, maybe some of us, I know I couldn't do very easily. Some of us absolutely could have, but you know, just for the convenience of that, I was willing to pay for the taxi ride to go over there and be safe, and not feel you know, like I had to rush and be in danger of getting hit by a car. So that was worth it to me. So paying for conveniences, paying for assistance when you need to. We set up, I mentioned the Mobay service. It's a service that has someone meet you at the airport, take your whole party through the security. So it's almost like TSA, where you go quicker through a different line than you do the regular lines for security checks, and then they take you to a lounge where you can order something to drink, and all of that's included in the service fee. So we paid about $42 for the arrival to Jamaica. They met us at the door, helped us get our luggage. You know, we sat in the lounge and had a cool drink before we got on our shuttle bus, which was absolutely wonderful because the lines could have taken quite a while. And then on the way back, same kind of thing. Once we were able to get our bags checked, then they ushered us through the security line, and we got to go to the lounge again, waiting for our flight to go out. So well worth it. $42 on the way up, $42 on the way back. Again, I know that sometimes we can't afford that, or that's not in our budget. That's perfectly fine. But if you choose to, as an aging adult, if you can pay for some of those conveniences, I would, you know, suggest that you think about at least including some of that into your budget for your convenience and for your health as well. And then safety in numbers. We talked a lot about the fact that we wouldn't go off the resort alone. Even within the resort, we always made sure one of us was with the other person, especially at nighttime, and just making sure that sometimes older adults can be seen as easy prey, I guess, for pickpocketers or you know, assaults and things like that. So just making sure that you're keeping that in mind. You know, something maybe we didn't think about when we were young, but certainly as older adults, we need to start thinking about that. So staying together, staying with the group, making sure you're not out on the beach you know, in the dark by yourself. It's not smart as an aging adult. So lots of things that we learned, but still, even with all of those accommodations and all of those changes, we were able to make this amazing, wonderful, memory-filled trip for all of us. And I'm looking forward to our next trip together, looking forward to our next adventure. Please, in the comments, let me know if you've done this, if you have taken an adventure lately, or what your hopes are for doing some travel as a senior. Have you made some changes in your travel ways, and how you accommodate or don't accommodate for changes that might have taken place in your body or in your health, or you know, whatever, stamina. And so I would really love to hear about all that. What are your destinations gonna be? And certainly, if you feel like this was helpful, please make sure, if you don't mind, to subscribe to the channel. It gets my content out, and it would really help me grow the channel, so I would love that. And I want you back, so please, if you haven't already done that, please do that. I look forward to talking to you next week. See you. Thank you so much.